Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Gillian Perkins and I'm so happy that you decided to watch this video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 different things that I really wish I knew when I first started blogging. Starting my first blog probably about 8 years ago now, right around the time that I was finishing up high school and starting college. I really knew nothing about blogging. I remember having a lot of struggles, but over the years it has evolved a lot. I started several different blogs. Each one was better than the last for sure, and these days I'm to some degree a professional blogger. I make money from my blog. I make a full-time income from my blog even, although it's not my main source of income in my life. So I'm a professional blogger in the sense that I make money from my blog, but it's not my full-time job. So anyway, I'm gonna share with you 5 different things I wish I knew when I started that first blog. Alright, so the very first thing is something I wish I knew when I started my very first blog when I was right around 18 or 19 years old, and that is that almost nobody wants to read your diary. When I first started blogging, it was really just my diary online. I was sharing stuff just about my thoughts and my feelings and my daily life, and it wasn't very interesting. So looking back, I just wish that I could tell myself that nobody really wants to read your diary. Of course, there is the odd exception of both people who are really interested in reading other people's diaries, of course, and also on the other hand, some bloggers who are really good at telling a story and they can tell absolutely anything and it's fascinating to read. But for the rest of us who aren't particularly gifted in that way, chances are there aren't a whole lot of people out there who just want to read your diary. So in order to have a successful blog, whatever that means to you, whether that means a lot of people reading it or plenty of people reading it and loving it or making money from it, we really need to create blogs that give some sort of value, whether that is fashion inspiration or a cooking blog or a how-to blog on some specific topic. The blog really needs to be centered around something that is helpful or at least highly entertaining in one way or another. The second thing I wish that I knew when I first started blogging is that if you just wait for traffic to find you, you might be waiting for a long time. Now, here's what I mean by that. When I first started blogging, I thought, okay, here's how people find blogs. They go on Google and they're looking for something, maybe a topic that I happen to write about. They'll happen to find my blog, and then eventually there will be thousands and thousands of people who are finding my blog in that way. But the reality is that blogging is so competitive and there are so many millions of websites out in the world that the chances of people, thousands and thousands of people every month, just happening to find your blog are relatively slim. So unless you're writing blogs on topics that are very search friendly, like recipes that are highly searched, or reviews of certain types of products, or how-to articles, that people won't really find your blog hardly at all. And even if you're writing on one of those topics that is more search friendly, there's so much competition for those topics that it's unlikely that it will amount to very much. Now, of course, there's plenty of exceptions to that. There are plenty of people who do get most of their traffic from organic search like that. But for most people, in order to become a successful blogger intentionally and strategically, you need to add in some other layer of how you're driving traffic to your site. That might be by collaborating with other bloggers, it might be by using Pinterest to drive traffic to your site, or by building up your following on Instagram or Twitter or some other social media platform, but you generally need to have a strategy of how you're getting traffic, not just wait for it to magically happen. The third thing I wish I knew was that appearance matters. Now, as much as we might like to think that if you're just a good writer or you just write interesting posts that people will love spending time on your blog, the fact is that we are very visual creatures and we really judge things based on how they look. And especially because blogging is such a competitive industry and there's so many millions of blogs out there, if your blog doesn't look fantastic, then it is going to be very tough for it to actually stand a chance of competing with all of those other blogs. blogs. And so what that means is your blog needs to have a nice design. It needs to be well laid out so that people can easily find things on it. They're not overwhelmed, it doesn't look messy. And it also means that choosing to put ads on your site is a decision that you need to make very carefully, because putting those ads on your site can really hurt the appearance of your site because they're not normally pretty. The fourth thing I wish I knew when I started blogging is that in order to make money with Google Adsense, you have to have hundreds of thousands of page views on your website every single month. Now you might not know what I'm talking about here, so let me explain just real quick. There are plenty of people, myself included, who got started blogging and were hoping that they could make some money with their blog, because I'm sure that you've heard of professional bloggers before. And if you're interested in making money with your blog and you do any research at all, then you'll find that one way, and one of the most common ways that you can make money with your blog, is to put Google ads on your site. Google has a program called Adsense that allows you to install third-party ads on your website, and then if someone clicks on those ads, then you get paid a little bit of money. And of course, this happens here on YouTube also. All of these ads that you see around the videos are basically the same program. However, with a blog, it's a little bit deceptive about how much volume you have to get on your blog in order to really get any substantial amount of income from it. You really have to have hundreds of thousands of page views every single month, and even then you're probably not going to make more than a couple $1,000s tops. Now, of course, that's not to say that you can't make money with Google AdSense, but most bloggers, especially new bloggers who are just getting started with their blogs, they're not getting anywhere near the volume of page views that they need to get, and so the amount of money that they'll make from Google AdSense is probably less than a couple $100s, and it's at a pretty big cost because those ads are cluttering up their website, they're really detracting from the appearance and the user friendliness of their blog, and they're not even making very much money. And so for most people, it makes a lot more sense to keep their site nice and clean, work on just building up their traffic and growing their audience, and then later choose which strategy they want to use to monetize their site. Because another thing I really wished I knew when I first started was that there are many different ways to monetize your blog. And the fifth and final thing that I wish I knew when I started my first blog is that there are easier ways to build your site. When I first started my first blog, I remember I was using a free blogging platform that worked fine, except it was very limited. I did not have much control over the look or the layout of my site. And so then I decided that I wanted my site to be more custom so that I had more control over it. And so I jumped into the world of WordPress and I started trying to build my website with free themes. Because after all, I wasn't making any money from my site yet and I was really kind of broke. So I was using these free themes, trying to figure out WordPress, trying to learn how to code my site basically, and it was costing me literally dozens and dozens, probably several hundred hours trying to get my website to look how I wanted it to look, and at the end of the day, it still didn't look anything like what I wanted. It was only after I had been blogging on WordPress for several years that I discovered that there were easier ways to build my site. Specifically, there are these things called premium themes, which are themes that you pay a little bit of money for. Normally, premium themes cost somewhere between $50 and $200, although many of them are right around that $50 mark. And many of these premium themes work well or come with what's called a visual page builder, which is basically a software that allows you to drag and drop things onto your site, looking at the front end of your site, rather than trying to change the appearance of your site from the WordPress backend. Long story short, what this means is that you can design your site much more easily and with absolutely no coding skills, and I really wish that I had learned this sooner and chosen to invest that $50 or so, because it would have saved me literally a few hundred hours of my time and a few hundred hours of struggling with something that gave me a massive headache. Alright, well that is pretty much it for this video. Those were 5 things I wish I knew when I started my first blog. If you have a blog, please do comment down below. Tell me what your blog is about and how long you've been blogging, or even if you haven't started blogging yet, just tell me what you are hoping to blog about and maybe when you're hoping to start. I would love to hear about it because I just find it so fascinating, all of the different topics and interests that people have, all the different passions that people have that they are interested in writing about. out. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, first of all, hit that like button to let me know that you liked it. And then second of all, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I make 2 videos here every single week about entrepreneurship, success, and personal development. They come out every single Tuesday and Thursday, and I would love to have you join me for the next one. Thanks again so much for watching. My name is Gillian Perkins, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.